very popular in the investing world for always being able to bring in very large profits for his clients no matter what the market looked like. So Harry's bosses wanted to know what Madoff was doing so that they could replicate it. And because he was the math whiz in the office, they challenged him to be able to figure out what he was doing. So he took this challenge. At first, he could not replicate it, which made him very frustrated. Again and again, he could not simulate Madoff's returns using the information gathered about Madoff's trades in stocks and options. So eventually, Markopoulos decided that Madoff was involved in some kind of fraud. When Markopoulos was first aware that he might be committing fraud, he sent his notes and a memo to the SEC alerting him to this information. And this was in 2000. And at that time it was more theoretical. But over the years, as he continued to investigate Bernard Madoff, he found more and more red flags and more evidence. And every time he came across this evidence or these red flags, he would send them to the SEC so that they could investigate. By 2005, he felt that he had enough evidence that he was almost 100% sure, 100% certain that Bernard Madoff was committing fraud. Unfortunately, the SEC was very slow to act on this information, and Harry did not really receive any feedback from them, but he kept on persisting and pursuing because he believed in justice and believed in what was fair and what was right. So in our book, Managing Business Ethics, it lays out 7 steps of how to blow the whistle. And not all of these directly apply to Harry because his case is a little different than others. He did not actually work for the company that he was blowing the whistle on. So the risk for him was a lot lower than for some other whistleblowers. So the first step is approach your immediate manager. He actually received a challenge from his manager to uncover what Bernard Madoff was doing. The second step was to discuss it with your family. I am sure that as this process was going on, Harry talked to his family and his wife about this because it was something that took up a large part of his life. This lasted for 8.5 years, and he was continually gathering evidence, and he was not secretive or shy about it. The third step is to take it to the next level. And I feel like he did that as he continued to send information to the SEC. And he didn't just send one memo and then just say, oh, my responsibility, my portion's done. But he continued to investigate, continued to find red flags, continued to find evidence until Bernard Madoff was charged with fraud. 4 is contact your company's ethics officer. He did not work for the company, but he immediately contacted the Securities and Exchange Commission as soon as he was aware of this fraud. Step 5 is consider going outside your chain of command, which was unnecessary because he immediately went to the SEC. And that also goes for number 6, go outside of the company. He contacted the only people that he knew could charge them, which was the SEC. Unfortunately, number 7 did not apply, which was leave the company because he did not work for that company. I really like this story because it shows that one man can make a difference. Even though the SEC at first was very unwilling to act, Harry did not give up, and he continued to gather evidence, and he continued to persist and continued to pursue until Bernard Madoff's fraud was uncovered.